Good morning, dear students. So, we are back again in the online platform or in the YouTube platform, and today we will be studying about the chapter Economic Importance of Fungi and Bacteria. Okay, I am following this book, that is Conscience Biology. You all have that, and this is class 9. So, we will be continuing with chapter 9, page number 83, Economic Importance of Bacteria and Fungi. So, all of you, please open your book along with your copy, make notes of whatever I am teaching you, take a pencil in your hand so that you can mark the lines that I am telling you. Okay, so see the chapter, that is economic importance of bacteria and fungi. First, economic importance of bacteria. So what is economic importance? First tell me that. See, economic importance means that particularly why is bacteria important to us in our daily to daily life, in the industries, in our own life, or how it is harmful to us. Okay, same goes for the economic importance of fungi. Now when the term economic comes, that means that the particular economy means the particular monetary usefulness. What is the monetary usefulness of bacteria and fungi? We will be starting with that. See, economic importance of bacteria. Bacteria are primitive organisms made up of only single cell. The genetic matter is dispersed in the central region of the cytoplasm with a nuclear membrane that is they are prokaryotic and lack a true nucleus. According to the 5 kingdom classification, bacteria are not plants, not at all. The reason being, bacteria is prokaryotic single celled organism instead of being eukaryotic and multicellular. So why it is bacteria not classified as plant? This is the only reason. Now bacteria are general study. So first we will know that what bacteria is, and then we will later on go to the economic importance. See, bacteria general study. Bacteria are most primitive unicellular organisms. Each bacterial cell contains a single chromosome or a nuclear material and not enclosed in a nuclear membrane. So bacteria does not contain any nuclear membrane. Bacteria so numerous and everywhere. There are several thousand known species of bacteria which occurs in air, water, soil, food, on or inside of the body of a living organism, and in short practically everywhere. In our own body there are hundreds and thousands of bacteria in the mouth, on skin, inside intestine, in the genital tracts, etc. Some bacteria occurring in our intestines are beneficial. They synthesize certain vitamins such as vitamin B. So some of the bacteria are very useful to us. Certain bacteria are harmful and cause many diseases, but are others which are highly useful as well. According to our estimate, there are more bacteria normally living on your skin than the total number of humans living on the earth. This is a very interesting fact. These bacteria are even useful if they prevent the growth of harmful ones. Okay, so size. Now coming to the size of bacteria. See, bacteria are the smallest living organisms on earth with an average size of 2 micrometer long and 0.5 micrometer thick. 1 micrometer equals to 1000 of a millimeter. So 1 millimeter is this much. 1000 part of a millimeter is known as 1 micrometer. Okay. Shape. What are the shape? They are generally occurred in 4 shapes. What are they? Cocci, bacilli, spiralia, and vibrio. Okay. Cocci, they are spherical in nature. Bacilli, rod shaped. Spirilla, they are spiral or twisted bacteria. Vibrio are coma shaped. Many bacteria living singly, but some occur in pairs, that is diplococci, or in long chain streptococci, or in cluster, that is staphylococcus. Okay. Now the structure. Each individual bacterium is rather a simple cell. It contains with living substance protoplasm or protoplast lying within the cell membrane. Cytoplasm plus bacterial chromosome is known as this particular protoplast. Surrounded by a non-living stiff cell wall, the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan and not of cellulose as in plant cell. So this is also another point of difference between plant and bacteria. A thin cell membrane lies immediately beneath the cell wall and surrounds the cytoplasm. There is no well-defined nucleus, but chromatin DNA material is present in the central region. The chromatin material is in the form of single circle and not enclosed in a nuclear membrane, but is attached to the cell membrane at some point. The cytoplasm contains vacuous granules and in some cases chlorophyll as well. Sometimes a slimy protective layer called capsule is present outside the cell wall. Now, how does they move or how does they locomote? See. Movement: bacteria cannot move about on their own, and they are only passively transported by wind, water or contact. But some bacteria possess one or more whip-like flagella, singular flagellum. What is their whip-like structure that allows a bacteria to move? Okay, which pierce through the cell wall and capsule. The lashing movement of the flagella provide active locomotion in liquid environment. Nutrition: how do they get nutrition? Most bacteria have no chlorophyll, therefore they depend on ready-made food from different sources or they are heterotrophic in nature. In this category, bacteria may be saprophytic and parasitic. So what is the difference between saprophytic and parasitic? You have already studied in your previous classes. See, saprophytic drawing nourishment from decaying dead organisms and parasitic drawing nourishment from the body of the living host or from living organism. The bacteria secretes powerful enzymes from their cell into the surrounding food containing material. The enzyme make the food material soluble, which is then absorbed as a solution into the bacterial cell. Now, respiration. Some bacteria respire by absorbing atmospheric oxygen, that is aerobic. Other need no free oxygen, that is anaerobic. The aerobic bacteria are killed if exposed to air. Mark this one. Okay. Reproduction. Reproduction in bacteria is only asexual by means of fission or cell division, that is bacteria do not reproduce sexually. The circular DNA duplicates, the cell expands and the two DNA are pulled apart. The cell constrict at the middle, separating the two cells depending on the type of bacteria. The two daughter cells may either remain attached or may separate from each other as independent cell. So please mark figure 9.2 of page number 84 and 9.3. These two are very much important and drawings are going to come from here. Okay. Bacteria reproduce very fast. Under ideal conditions, some bacteria divides at a very fast rate, once in every half an hour. At this rate, the growth and division starting with a single bacterium at the end of 24 hours would be 281. This is a long, very long figure. Okay, so just imagine how it happens. Highly primitive type of sexual reproduction has been found in the very few bacteria and is extremely simple. In this method, two bacteria of different strains but of the same species come together, that is conjugation. The plasmid, a small circular DNA molecule different from the chromosomal DNA of the donor, may be transferred into the recipient through a hollow tube-like extension of the donor cell. Spores to overcome unfavorable conditions. When unfavorable conditions set in, such as drying up of vegetation, the bacterial cell draws its content into the spherical mass, which becomes surrounded by a thick and hard protective wall. The little rounded body is a spore which is contained within the original cell wall, but latter becomes free when the cell wall ruptures. Such spores are usually the resting stage which can withstand unfavorable conditions. What happens? See, when particularly unfavorable conditions happens, that is, suppose there is no vegetation or loss of water, they constrict themselves within a particular enclosed type or a cell type. Okay, this is known as spore. Once the condition is favorable, again favorable, they come back to their normal life, and this spore formation is occurred to help them or particularly to withstand these unfavorable conditions without dying. Clear? These can tolerate extreme dryness. Some cannot be killed even at temperature of boiling water or frozen ice. Some can tolerate poisonous chemicals. The spores can be carried far and wide by various means such as wind, water or contact. On meeting favorable conditions, the spores germinate and their dormant protoplasm become active and streams out of the rupture wall in the form of new bacterium. Spore formation in bacteria is not a method of reproduction but simply a method of escaping unfavorable conditions. So please remember, it is not because of their reproduction but it is because of their escaping unfavorable conditions. Okay, so useful role of bacteria in medicine or the economic importance, we will be studying that in our next class. So today up till this, in the next class we will be starting from useful role of bacteria in medicine. I hope whatever I have taught you, it is clear to you all. Go through it. If you have any problem, definitely ask me in the class timing, in the comment box, in mail, or in my WhatsApp number, wherever you want. Just ask me. Otherwise, I think it is very clear to you. Chapter is very easy. Questions are directly going to come from this chapter. Go through it and take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Stay home. Stay safe. We will be meeting in the next class. Thank you.